Good evening. Welcome to Current Affairs. Today, I would like to talk to you with respect to development and governance. So, whatever I am going to speak to you now, so these are the words of Dr. Amartya Sen, Nobel laureate, Bharat Ratna. So, there are so many feathers to his cap. Such a fantastic and great economist as far as India is concerned. So that particular person has spoken regarding the development and governance. First of all, I would like to show his photograph. Of course, every one of you know this gentleman. You can see him on the screen, nicely smiling. Lots of intelligence and lots of economics that is present in this brain. And India is proud of this great person. Now, so let me come back to you onto the screen. So now let me tell you, so what exactly this person has said. First of all, so he was talking about the issues that are present in India with respect to secularism and religious tolerance. Sometimes the concept of secularism is forgotten, and unfortunately, the anti-secular elements, non-secular elements, they will try to dominate certain issues. So, which is a very, very dangerous because secularism is one of the basic tenets of our constitution. So, with respect to religious intolerance, so what exactly is happening? Maybe with respect to the beef or any other issue, and somebody says that we don't chant like Bharat Mata Ki Jai. So all these issues are really creating certain problems in countries like India, and these issues are being created by the top leaders in the nation. So these are the representatives of the peoples. And if it is a common man, that man will be arrested and throw him behind the bars, and you can make him silent. But when the top people in the country, so are representing the people and who are the members in the parliament and various assemblies, if they are speaking like this, then what should be done? So that is the reason why. So there is a necessity, as long as in a country like India, according to Dr. Amartya Sen, if these issues are cropping up, then obviously the development will be retarded. Clear? So here, see here, kindly see my close friends. We are not talking, we are not taking the sides of any religion because we, so we all in our group, we believe in constitution, and the constitution talks about the secularism, and we are all secular. There's no doubt about this, and I'm exclusively talking about those elements which are talking in terms of the against certain religions. So that is the reason why the issue of religious intolerance has become a great subject for debate in country like India, and which is not expected to happen because we all want to live in a peaceful and harmonious environment. Now, so this is the first issue that was he was talking about, Dr. Amartya Sen. Second thing is that he was focusing himself on education. He was focusing himself on education, and he's saying that average Indian is not getting any elementary education, or certainly not a good quality education. So this is the point. All of you, my dear close friends, since beginning, when we started our current affairs long back, since then I was insisting on this particular area. Providing education is not a bigger task. The government can do it, no problem. But I'm worried about the quality education. So until and unless that quality is not given, right? So meaning most of the times here, our education is meant only for securing certain marks. Come on, read something, write something, and pass out. So that passing out, that's not an issue. Irrespective of the scores that are getting, the person is getting in the examination, the knowledge that is accumulated, and the knowledge that is accumulated, which can be implemented, so that that will be useful for the development of a society. So these are the issues which are considered to be very, very important for the nation, and that is the reason why. So we always complain about the quality of the education. Just because somebody is getting 90%, 95 or 100%, it does not mean that that particular knowledge will be useful for the society. Clear, we are very sorry to say. That's the reason why one big criticism in India is that our education system, our education system is a defective education. Yesterday's year, for example, let me tell you one example. So, because the time has come, let me talk to you these points. In every state, you have certain candidates so who are educated through D.Ed and B.Ed. That is with respect to education, and that is a minimum. That is a certificate, so that you require to get into a job in the teaching field. I'm talking about the schools. So to get a government job in the schools, a candidate has to have this D.Ed and B.Ed. Later, the examination will be conducted. And in a similar manner, with respect to engineers. So many private colleges are there with respect to engineering, and so many thousands of people are coming out in each state. Thousands of people are coming out in each state, right? So why should I say thousands? Lakhs of people are getting graduated. But where are the jobs in the country? That's the reason why yesterday, not yesterday exactly, 2 days back, the chief minister of Telangana, this is the case, right? Because he has spoken very uh, in a daring manner, dynamically, I am taking his name. But otherwise, this is an issue that is present in each and every state. So he was saying that every year, 40,000 members from Telangana region, so they are coming out. They are coming out with B.Ed and D.Ed. So obviously, what they are supposed to do? So they have to get into a job. For that reason, you need to conduct the examination. Examination is conducted by the government agencies. So in order to conduct the examination, there should be vacancies, first of all. The government should be ready. But where are the vacancies? Can you in reality create 40,000 teacher posts every year? This is a general issue that is happening throughout India. I'm talking about. So, in the similar manner, doctors are coming out, engineers are coming out, lawyers are coming out. But where are the jobs for all these people? Obviously, the students, the candidates rather, they will go for the agitations. They will go for the agitations. Yes, they have every right. It is a responsibility of the government to respond to the situation, and they will just give the promises before the election saying that we are going to fill up so many vacancies. Innocent students, they believe it. Innocent people, they believe it. This is what is happening in most of the states in the country, rather than every state in the country. If so many people are unemployed, then what do you talk in terms of the development? Hope you are getting me. Very, 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 very important points. Is that okay? And these may be the questions for you even in the interview too. Similarly, when it comes to the healthcare of the people, do you think that everybody in the country has the capacity to go for the expenditure when somebody falls ill? Definitely not. No issues. Public health centers are there, managed by the government. But what is the quality? So then obviously you are looking for the private sector health centers. But what about the cost? Thousands of rupees and lakhs of rupees must come into the picture. How many people in the country are ready to face the situation of the ill health? Number one time it's okay. Second time it happens to the same person in the same family or some other person in the same family. The family is in a ready position so to bear the expenditure? Obviously not. So education is not there, employment is not there, health is not there, and there is nobody to take care of all these issues. Then where is the meaning of the development? Hope you are getting me, my dear close friends. Kindly think on these lines. That is the reason why, if notification is given, few people are getting the jobs, that's not development for me. If schools are provided, some people are getting good marks and passing out, that's not the education for me. But I am talking in terms of the quality. In the similar manner, when it comes to the health also, there is no quality. That's the reason why the number of diseases are increasing. Reason may be anything that we have a separate discussion. But diseases are increasing. There is no capacity for the people to bear that expenditure. At the same time, there is nobody to take care of the health of the people here. Maybe in some states you may have certain health schemes, but are you really getting benefited out of those schemes? There is no quality. If there is no quality, there is no development. That's what I would like to say. Am I clear? So very, 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 very important. But when it comes to countries like India, so we have certain skilled people who are able to function in the manufacturing sector, so are able to function in the IT sector, pharmaceuticals, okay, and automobiles. So for this particular area, you need the skill. But how many people in the country have the skill? And let me tell you what Dr. Amartya Sen said. I wear a watch. Amartya Sen was saying, I wear a watch. When I look at my own watch, when I look at my own mobile, all these are made in China. All these are made in China. Yes, do you agree with me? Why can't you do the same thing here? Don't we have the capacity? So we have the capacity. For that reason, the government has to take the initiatives. That's the reason why. So people like such, they criticize the governments. And obviously, it is very difficult for a common man to understand that particular language. Is it clear? That's the reason why those people, if they are Nobel laureates, Bharat Ratna, but in reality, the suggestions that are given by those people must be accepted. At the same time, the government also has to do something very concretely. And Dr. Amartya Sen was also speaking with respect to Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. We have discussed this point so many times. It started when Dr. Manmohan Singh became the Prime Minister for the first time. It continued for 10 years till 2014. So even after that, it is even today also it is continued. And today's government point out the fingers with respect to the failures to the previous governments. That's the reason why today's government is talking in terms of the reforms in this particular program. During the budget discussion, I told you 37,000 crores plus has been allocated for this particular scheme. Manrega, you say, right? For this scheme. But when compared to the total budget, the amount that is allocated for this is very small because this is the only scheme which is directly affecting the poorest of the poor in the country. This is the only scheme. Is it okay? And what is happening? The opposition parties will cry over this. What is this you are doing? Very such a meager amount. Government says we have increased the allocation. Opposition says this allocation is not at all sufficient. So meaning everybody wants to talk in favor of a poor person. Government says we are increasing the allocation. Opposition party says it's not sufficient. So the poor are being used for the political fight. But what is the benefit that people are getting it? How many people, kindly verify in your state, in your district, in your village, how many people are getting benefited out of this? That's the reason why the government was also talking in terms of the reforms in this particular scheme. But Dr. Amartya Sen is fearing that on the name of the reform, schemes should not be abolished. If you want to reform, start making some changes in the existing program. At the same time, if you want to create another program, start it simultaneously. The moment the second program has been picked up, you can abolish the first program, but without creating a new program, you cannot abolish the previous one. Is that okay? That's the reason why policies are not bad, but the implementation methods are bad. Implementation mechanism is bad. Hope you are getting this. Very, very important point. That's the reason why we always say that rich becomes richer and poor becomes poorer. And the gap between rich and poor, it is not being maintained, the same gap, it is getting widened. It is getting widened. When it's getting widened, what is the meaning of the constitutional terms economic justice? There is no economic justice, obviously there will not be no social justice. Is it okay? Then where is the development and what is the development? Is it okay? Right? And unfortunately, and the poor in the country do not have any voice. The poor in the country do not have any voice. Right? And most of the times only the people with voice can be heard by the government. That's the reason why even today also the lobbying scheme, it's very, very huge. Is it okay? Now, the strength of an economy lies. The strength of an economy lies only when the people are properly educated. When the infrastructure is created, whenever the jobs are created. So then only the quality in the country will be coming up. Until and unless that is not considered to be a real development. Is it okay? So now I'll show you the points very fastly. You can quickly have a look at all these things. So this is a gentleman. You have already seen this photograph. Now, to overcome problems like issues about secularism and religious tolerance, I am talking in terms of Dr. Amartya Sen. The average Indian either has not got any elementary education or certainly not good quality education. In healthcare also similar total chaos is there. The patients do not know what they are spending on. They are very easy to exploit if you don't have the good public service. They are being exploited. Don't you agree with me? Are they not being exploited? The previous government has cut allocation for the school meals. I'm talking about midday meal school. For Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, and of course for health care, they have done nothing. For the growth to be securely founded and to be shared, you need public services of health care, education, social security net. In India, they have consistently neglected them and now even more. Important points, please. You may raise these same sentences in the interview board. You may write the same points in the examination also. The fields in which India is very good, none of them really depend on the general labor force, but they depend on the special labor. These are information technology, pharmaceuticals, and the third is the auto parts. There is nothing but automobiles. Look at this. Dr. Amartya Sen said, the new commodity is very difficult for an illiterate labor force to make it. It is not true of China. I pick up my pen. Amartya Sen said, I pick up my pen, I pick up my telephone, I look at my watch. These are all made in China. How can they make all kinds of things? You don't have to be specialized if you can read, write, and count and are in reasonably good health and can work full time with the full vigors. So we can make them too. India also can make them. But that requires not a course correction of the economic strategy. It requires a course correction on the understanding of the relation between economic and social strategy. Such a wonderful statement that is given by Dr. Amartya Sen. Look at this for your sake. I'll be reading it again once again. It requires not a course correction of the economic strategy, but it requires a course correction on the understanding of the relation between economic and social strategy. Okay, look at this. On Manrega, despite the wastage, it achieved something. Many of the other things did not. Now the present government seems to recognize that it did achieve something, and in fact, they seem to think that they should get credit for this. If the present government can make this scheme a more leak-proof and more asset creation oriented without violating the commitment, then this would be a very, very good thing. You can make the things out as you put the things in. And according to doctors, this particular scheme demands a larger amounts of money, but given the total size of the budget, it is relatively a small fraction, but somehow people want to attack that because it is the only one from which the poor get something. Anything that only the poor get is vulnerable to attack. Right? He said that. poor do not have the voice in India. And this scheme, the promises of reform could be a gentle way of withdrawing the scheme, meaning on the name of the reforms, the government will withdraw the schemes. Don't do this. Yes, reform it. As you reform it, replace an existing one with that, but don't abolish the existing one on the grounds that you are going to do some reform. Fantastic statements that are given by Dr. Amartya Sen. Okay, and he also spoke something about governance. See here, when I'm talking about the governance, what do you mean by this? Hopefully, this you might have heard this word so many times. So in administration, we use this word governance. When Mr. Narendra Modi became the Prime Minister of India, he was also speaking in these terms, and he said that less government and more governance. So whenever I am talking about governance, it means deliverability. Until and unless the people are not getting the things what are promised by the government, right, that is not called the governance. Is it clear? That is called deliverability of the services by the government. That is called governance. On this, he said, we have to get our priorities right. Recognize that ultimately the strength of an economy lies in the strength of the people, and the strength of the people lies in whether they are educated, whether they are healthy or unhealthy, whether they are worried about whether they will survive the next illness, or whether the next illness will make them. See, a very very important point is that whether they can survive the illness, important. Do they have money? If you are economically strong, so then you can take care of your health, you can spend money on the health. So whether the next illness will make them bankrupt. Very 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 sad. First illness itself is a trouble thing. Second illness, according to Dr. Amartya Sen, will make them bankrupt, right? Or whether they will get some kind of support as a safety net to get them through. Is it clear? See here, whenever people like Dr. Amartya Sen speak something, there will be a definite logic. There will be definite logic. And we need to understand that logic. Clear, these are the people who are non-partisan, unbiased. They have seen not just the economy of India, they have seen the world economies. So comparative wise, no issues. So they can compare various economies. At the same time, they also know the strengths and weaknesses of the Indian government. That's the reason why these are the people who can better suggest for our economic development. And kindly remember all the points that are given by Dr. Amartya Sen. And tomorrow I'll talk to you with respect to the elections that are happening in United States of America. The presidential elections will take place once in 4 years, and this year, 2016, the elections are going to happen. Considered to be very serious and the most important elections in the world, rather. Since America is the most important country and the American president is considered to be the most powerful president in the world. That's the reason why whenever we talk about America and especially American president, it's always brings in lots of attention. So many people are interested to know this. But again, there are so many intricacies. Maybe you are interested to know how exactly the presidential elections will take place. So you might have come across with the terms like primaries and caucus. What exactly is this? Unlike Indian elections, these elections, the whole process will continue for almost for a period of 1 year. The election is going to be held in the month of November 2016, and we are in the month of March. But already the hangama has been started. Political rivals, they are criticizing each other. within the party and outside the party. What is this within the party? That we'll try to understand tomorrow. The so-called Donald Trump, he is making so many controversial statements. And the world is feared of this. If he becomes the president of America tomorrow, what happens? Why there is a fear? So many interesting issues are there. And I'll make all the things clear to you tomorrow. And I'll see you tomorrow with the issue that is elections of United States of America. Till then, I wish you all the very, very best. Take very good care of yourself and have wonderful dinners. Sleep well. See you tomorrow at the same time with a new topic of presidential elections in United States of America. Good night. Thank you.